Hi, everyone. We're so excited to have you. I'm Jamila Everett, Dean of Enrollment Management. So excited for you to be here today or tonight to talk with our Dean of College Guidance, Mr. Hector Martinez. And I know many of you have came to our Admitted Student Day and were able to talk to many of our students and faculty. Mr. Martinez at the time was in New York at NYU, talking to NYU admission staff. And so he couldn't be at Admitted Student Day. So we thought we'd do this wonderful session for those of you that didn't get to talk with him, haven't met him, and then for our international students as well, and students that haven't come to campus. So we're so thrilled that he's here. And so today, really, the session is to learn more about our college admission process. And I know that many of you have just been through your own admission process to Webb. And so it's kind of hard to believe that you may be already thinking about what college admissions would be like. But one of the things that I love so much about Webb is our incredible college guidance philosophy and program and the wonderful colleges our students get into every year. And Mr. Martinez and his team do a lot to guide our students. So he's going to talk for a bit, and then we're going to do Q&A. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I know we had some submitted questions as well. Mr. Martinez has been at Webb for a very long time. And Mr. Martinez, I used to work in college admissions and at, Caltech and other colleges, and I would always come to Webb and recruit. And it was always great to see Mr. Martinez and bring wonderful Webb students for me to talk to. And, we have a great program. We have so many colleges that visit us every year. So I remember that. And so Mr. Martinez is also a national expert in college access and admission. He sits on the board at the NACAC and College Board and is always routinely quoted in the LA Times. And he's had a long history at Webb for sending students to great colleges. So I would love to introduce Mr. Martinez to tell you a little bit about our process.
Thanks, Jamila. Um, you know, First of all, congratulations to all of you for getting into Webb and to the families as well. It's a big deal. I remember when my own two children were admitted to Webb. In fact, on March 10th, I think I sent Dr. Everett a picture of my youngest son when he had just opened his admit offer from Webb
Yeah.
almost 10 years ago. So
Mm.
time flies and it's really incredible. But a sincere congratulations. It's a big deal and it's not easy to get into a top boarding school like Webb. And so I congratulate all of you on that achievement. The college guidance process at Webb is very comprehensive. And let me tell you right now, the biggest news that's happening right now. If any of you Google what is happening this week in college admissions, you will get lots of pop-ups from Reddit to TikTok to everything else that's basically seniors pulling out their hair because lots of college decisions are being released. Today, NYU, USC, Northwestern, Vanderbilt. Oh my gosh, there's so many colleges that are releasing their decisions today. Tomorrow, all of the Ivy League and Berkeley are releasing their decisions. Stanford the following day. So this is a really big culmination of lots of hard work and lots of dreams that for some of them are about to be dreams that come true. The slide that just popped up gives you a little preview. This is just a little glimpse at lots of colleges our early group got into. So these are the kids that at Webb applied early admission and got good news from. So you definitely can see a lot of familiar names on there, maybe a couple that aren't as familiar, but are equally wonderful places and deserve your attention. And it ranges from world-class places that the whole world knows, right? The Stanfords and the Ivy League and schools like that, to little amazing art schools like Parsons and Rhode Island School of Design. Schools that may be more of a niche place for the artist or the aspiring architect, for example. And this is a big part of what happens to you at Webb. This is a really important high school. And when you do a really good job here, by your junior year, you get to come over to College Guidance and meet our staff. There's three of us, three full-time College Guidance staff members. We all work with all the juniors and seniors. We do meet with freshmen and sophomores, so you're going to meet us in your first year when we do our pep talks that we call them a couple of times a year to just check in with you as a first year class, and then again as a sophomore class. And then in the junior year, we start the private appointments with us and start designing your college future in a sense. Um, we have an associate dean of admissions who's Miss Abrams, and she comes to us from the college side and has incredible wealth of knowledge, having worked in admissions for many years as a graduate of Carleton College and also of Smith College, where she did advanced degrees. And worked in admissions before coming to Webb, and now is doing college counseling with us. This is now her third year. And then we have Mrs. Flores, Adriana Flores, who is our senior college guidance associate. And she kind of runs the office and does all sorts of amazing things for us and works with our students and also offers advice on the financial aid process and everything else that has to do with the UC system and the Cal State system and public school system in general. And myself, and I've been here, as Dr. Everett said, I'm going on the end of my third decade. It sounds better than when I say 29 years, but it's been a long time. Had a fantastic time being at Webb. My wife is a Webb alum from class of 86, and my two sons are Webb alums from class of 2016 and 2019. They are now both college graduates, and they're very proud Webb alums and always give back to Webb and think very fondly of their high school years. This college process is really stressful, and there's lots of anxiety and lots of crazy that goes with it. And what we try to do at Webb is try to make it the least stressful possible for
Mm-hmm.
each one of you and every family that goes through the process. We try to make it a comprehensive program that is tailor-made to each of you. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really one of the most wonderful things about coming to Webb is that you're going to be known. You're going to be an individual that's known here. And by the time you get to us, we're going to know you. And you're going to be surprised that we know so much about you. And then as we start to get to know each other in the process of looking for your colleges, we get to learn more about you and match you and fit you with the very best
Mm-hmm.
places that make sense and that you're a good fit slash match for. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Any good top boarding school in America will tell you their college counseling program, it all starts with that match and that fit above everything else. And that's a philosophy we hold true at Webb as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel very strongly about, because even though we all these colleges that you're seeing on the screen are all highly ranked colleges and very prestigious places, and they all end up on the top, list of America's best colleges, not every college on that list is necessarily the right fit for you.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to find the best places that really fit you well, that you're going to be excited about, that you have a chance of getting into, and there'll be some reaches and some targets and some likelies.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, amazingly, if you look at some of our stats on our website, you're going to see that over 90% of our students get into one of their top choice colleges.
Mm-hmm.
Over 90% of our students are attending a college ranked in the top 10% in the world, not just the US.
Mm-hmm.
Um, more than 50% of our early candidates get into college early. Our acceptance rates are really high, and they're really high because you go to a really good high school, one that colleges know. Dr. Everett, used to work at USC, at Caltech, at
Mm-hmm.
the Claremont colleges. She knows really good high schools even before she came to Webb. And I know that other professionals in the college admissions world,
Mm-hmm.
they're very aware of good high schools, right? And when they know good high schools and they see a candidate from a good high school, it's already a plus. It's already a positive, and they already are going into that applicant with the eye that they would like to have somebody from a really good high school like that. So we're in a fortunate position where we get placed among the very best high schools in America. And when I present every senior to college, they get read with that already under their belt.
Mm-hmm.
What you do at Webb and how well you do it is going to go a long way. And it's certainly going to be super important, both your academic performance and your personal achievements while
Mm,
you're here with us. And ultimately, that's sort of what we present to each college. We try to create the best story for each of you, help you to present yourself with your best light
mm,
in mind. And then we make sure that you have an appropriate list that is a great match and a great fit for you so that you're not only going to get in, but you're going to be successful to the place you ultimately pick to go to.
mm,
Um, I'm super proud of our graduates. They do incredibly well in college. In fact, the one thing I hear over and over as we
mhm,
travel all over the US and all over the world from alumni of the Webb schools is that they were really well prepared for
mm,
college, that they had a really good experience, that their confidence level, their study habits, their abilities to process
mm,
information was much more natural for them because they had already done it at Webb.
mhm,
And when you go to a boarding school like this, you really are kind of doing college like a pre college
mm.
experience, right? It's like a little college here at Webb, and then you go to a bigger college afterwards where you feel really confident to do great work there. Um, so it's really exciting. We love our jobs in college guidance. We love what we get to do because for the most part, we get to make dreams come true, and that's a really awesome thing to get to do for a living. Um,
Mm,
I definitely hope you guys will look at our website and check out some of the profiles because you'll see a lot of the different colleges, many that are not on this particular slide, of lots of other places that make our
mm,
top 40, top 50 list every year. But also maybe places that you'll be surprised and be like, gosh, I wonder what that little college is about. And you'll start kind of finding some interesting places that you might be looking at a few years from now.
mm.
Um, I know Dr. Everett has some specific questions
Yeah,
for me
I
from
do.
all of you, and so I want to answer those and allow time for that,
Okay.
and then allow maybe a little time at the end to answer any other questions that pop up. So I'll
Yeah,
turn it back to
that's
Dr.
great.
Everett.
Yes. Well, first I wanted to say, ask a question about college, in terms of the college visits, because I know we have so many college visitors that come, and
Yeah,
I'm always in admiration of like how many colleges come versus how many students we have on
yeah,
campus.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
No,
what
I
is
love
that
that.
number so they know?
Yeah,
That's
so
what I'm.
we have, I'll give you a great example. The last 2 years, we've averaged 99 kids in the class, right? So there's 99 kids in the senior class. This year, I think we had 122 colleges visit us in person.
Wow,
So
that's
we always have
incredible.
more colleges than I even have seniors to send to each place. If
That's
I could send
great.
a kid to every college, there'd be some
Mhm.
colleges that just aren't going to get any web kids
Yeah.
because that's how many people visit. Let me also add that, um, colleges, it's very expensive and very time consuming to visit high schools
Mm.
all over the United States and all over the world. So not every high school gets visited.
Yeah.
Certainly in California, there's so many good high schools. Not every good high school gets visited. But at Webb, we always get visited, and we
Hmm.
take great pride in welcoming those college visitors, um, because
Hmm.
when they come here and see what we have and see our campus and meet our kids, they really get a much better idea of what a great experience these students are having, and they leave so impressed that it's been very common for college admissions people to come here and say, "Oh my gosh, this place is nicer than my college." So I definitely uh, love it when they come to see us because then they realize what a big deal that the campus is. But it's also a great opportunity to personalize the process and for them
Mm.
to meet the real kids behind the applications, and for our students, for our seniors to meet the admissions people. Juniors and seniors are allowed to visit with colleges, by the way. So juniors and seniors have a chance to meet the actual admissions people that many times will read their applications. So
Hmm.
it's a very nice service that they provide for us, and we're very grateful that they continue to visit us in such large numbers.
And then also, what other programs do you have to expose students to other colleges? Like I know we have the East Coast program and the case studies. Maybe talk just a little bit about that
Yeah,
because.
we're preparing for an annual case studies program that takes place in April, where we fly in about 50 different colleges and universities from all over the US, among the best colleges in the US, to come and present to our junior class on a very personal level,
Mm,
um, a mock admissions process
mm.
where the students become the admission officers. They get to see a behind the scenes look on how colleges make decisions,
Wow.
particularly at a selective college.
Mm,
That takes place in late April, and it's a week's program of activity. And
mm,
we go up first with a group of very prestigious day schools in the Pasadena area, and so that's one way. We have programs that we actually have built into our office, that allow students to search engines that generate interesting lists of colleges that could be potential
mm,
good places to start thinking about. We do college tours and visits on a
mm,
yearly basis. So our college guidance staff will go and take groups of students, and those are open to all students at Webb. So
mhm,
even freshmen can go on those trips,
mm,
and they go and visit colleges on the East Coast, colleges in California. We had one this past fall during October break that visited colleges here in California, all the way from Stanford all the way down to San Diego.
mm,
Next year, we're hosting a college tour program of New England
mm,
and East Coast colleges. So there are those opportunities as well. And again, because so many colleges come here in person, many
mm,
of our students are exposed to a lot of those colleges literally by the deans and directors of admission who
mhm.
come to visit us here on our campus.
Great. And then looking at, this year's results, which are, fantastic. And I know we have the early numbers in, and students, like you mentioned, are getting their Ivy results and other results soon. But what are you the most proud of in terms of not just the outcomes, because those are great, but also like how students approach, this year's process,
Yeah.
how they approach
No,
it?
I'm really most proud of the fact that our seniors are they're so thoughtful in this process. You
Mm,
know, I tell them junior year, you only get about 5 or 6 major decisions you make in your life, right? Those include big stuff, right? Like whether or not you're going to spend the rest of your life with a significant other, whether or not you're going to have children of your own, what career you're going to spend most of your life doing, where you're going to live most of your life, right? Big decisions that we make. This is the first one.
mm,
Picking your college and going to college, one, and picking your college, big decision. Um, so they take it very seriously. They're very thoughtful. Um, they're very careful. There's a lot of details. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen in a college application. If you thought it was tough to apply to Webb, wait until you apply to college. It's even more involved.
That's funny.
Um, and we are here to help you with that. And I think that's a big part of our job. But it's a thing that I'm really proud of with our seniors, is that they take the process seriously, and they're thoughtful and careful with it, and they know that this is their big first major decision that's going to matter in their lives, and they want to make a good decision, and they want to pick wisely.
Mhm.
And I love that about them. um, I also think that whether you end up at a world famous place or a tiny little college no one's ever heard of, these kids love the places they go to.
Mm,
They do make good choices, and
mhm,
they end up being very happy. And most of them stay at those colleges. They don't transfer out, and that's another good sign that we're
mhm.
placing kids at the right places. Um, so I'm really proud of that as well.
And then don't we send like cookies to all of the freshmen at their colleges
We
every year?
do.
I love that
My
tradition.
sons, I remember when my sons were each at their colleges, they sent me a text saying, "Oh my God, I got like a whole little box of cookies, the homemade cookies that Webb is so famous for,
Hmm.
sent to my dorm." Like literally, my classmates in my college were like, "Your high school sends you cookies
Well,
packages?"
because they're gonna
Um,
miss Web a
yeah,
little, right?
they
Since
are. They are.
they're
I love, when I went to visit my older son, he went to this fabulous college in Washington, D.C., Georgetown. And I went to his dorm room, and in his dorm room, there was a picture of his mom and me and his little brother. So that was kind of nice. And right next to it was this fantastic picture of him with all of his web friends.
Aw.
And those were the only two pictures.
Mm.
But that web picture was bigger than the family picture. So I also just think there's a fondness to your experience at Webb that sometimes is so transformative and so incredible that it won't be weird for you to go to a great college and say, I love this college and I'm having a good experience, but it's really not as nice or as good as my experience at Webb,
Mhm. Mhm.
because that's how special this kind of high school experience can be for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that there's some personal touches that Webb does as graduates that I think we all appreciate
Yeah.
a bit, and get great joy from
Yeah.
experiencing.
Yeah. And then, so my next question, I know a lot of families, and I know myself included, and we hear so much in the media about college selectivity and what's happening with colleges right now. But what do you think families tend to misunderstand most about the college admissions process
Yeah.
today?
I'll tell you, it's a very confusing, complex process. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, you have all sorts of things that you're going to be hit with: Common App, early decision, early action, restrictive early action, 10 different ways to apply to places and 10 different ways to file things. There's so much information that alone stresses people out, right? It's very common for families to think that there's a secret formula to get into a top college.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there is none. There is no secret formula. No college out there has any secret formula. If there was a secret formula, I would have it. Right? This office would have it. This high school would have it. So believe me, um, we're as close as we get to the secret formula at Webb, because we have an enormous amount of experience. We had a meeting with the junior class a few hours ago, right after lunch, where we did a little trivia thing that Miss Abrams did for the class. And one of the questions was, how many years of college admissions experience does the college guidance have put together? So between the three of us, right?
Wow.
And the answer is 148 years,
Oh my
which is
gosh.
crazy. Okay. I'm old, but I'm not that old. Uh, but there's definitely lots and lots of years of great experience. Um, and what's the first thing we do with our families is introduce them to lots of great options
Mm-hmm.
and explain that there's more than 10 colleges in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
There's more than, the top 20 are no better than the top 40, that are no better than the top 50, And frankly, most of our kids are going to never have to go any further than that. 90% of our kids end up at a college either ranked in the top 50 national liberal arts colleges or the top 50 national
Mm-hmm.
universities. Um, so fixating and thinking there's a secret formula to get into one particular place is a mistake families make a lot, and realize, oh, there really isn't, and they're not kidding. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of experts out there that don't work at really good high schools like this, who charge a lot of money, consultants who might say to a family, if you pay me, $50,000, I'll get your kid into a top college. Be careful with that crazy, because that doesn't usually happen, and those people don't usually have any kind of power like that to do that. So, but they're selling fear on you, and that fear is going to make you make some decisions that might not be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
you know, our students get incredibly good advice at Webb from the very beginning,
Mm-hmm.
because their faculty already offer advice as their advisors. So
Yeah.
we have incredibly good teachers who have a
Mm-hmm.
great understanding of this process, know selective colleges, and know all of their kids are going to end up at those selective colleges. So it's already built into the program at Webb. When they get to us, we're going to add to that and make sure they're on the right path and doing exactly what they need to be doing at the very best ability that they can do that. And the other mistake, and I think the other thing that I try to tell families to be careful with, is to avoid fixating on one place.
Mm-hmm.
I see this a lot, and I'm sure you see this, Dr. Everett. The cute family that you see at a mall, or at the beach on vacation, and their little kids are wearing the Harvard sweatshirt or the Stanford sweatshirt or the little T-shirts from the prestigious college.
Mm-hmm.
And while it's cute, there's a little part of me, as a former college admissions officer and as a college counselor, that I just say, gosh, I hope you're not already adding pressure to that little person who one day may or may not end up going to that college on
Mm-hmm.
their t-shirt or their sweatshirt. Um, don't fixate on one place because there's so many good places that are
Yeah.
just like that one place.
Mm-hmm.
And our job is to help you understand the range of those wonderful places and
Mm-hmm.
making sure that each student here at Webb gets paired with the right places that make sense for them, you know. Um, but yeah, I just
Mm-hmm.
know that
Yeah.
parents get nervous because our kids are the most important thing in our lives, and students get nervous because they don't want to disappoint the parents.
I know. And they want to go to good, whatever, good places, right? What does that
Yeah.
mean? Yeah. Okay, great. We had a student who asked a question about D1 sports and students that go to D1 colleges. So maybe if you could talk a little bit about that process for athletes.
Yeah, I'll tell you, in the United States, athletics are a big deal. Okay. If you're a D1 athlete and you're that good, lots of colleges are going to want you. And we get excited when we get a D1 athlete at Webb. We don't get a lot of them, but once in a while we do get one, and they end up getting into some pretty fabulous places.
Mhm.
Um, but what's important is that all athletes, a scholar athlete, as I call them, okay, a
Mhm.
scholar athlete is a kid who goes to a really good high school, who's really smart, and also is really good at their sport. Colleges love that combination.
Mhm.
Okay. A lot can be learned in competitive athletics, and a lot of that transfers over to a really strong academic performance that don't always happen to the same to the same individual. But at Webb, it always happens. Everyone at Webb who plays a sport is also really smart and does a really good job. So colleges will come and visit, whether it's football or soccer or tennis or
Mhm.
swimming or baseball, softball, etc. They will come to Webb and say, "Oh my gosh, this is where the smart athletes go to school." They ask our coaches who would they be interested in playing for us, and it's Division 1, Division 2, and Division 3. Many of the Division 3 programs are especially popular
Mhm.
because most colleges are Division 3. Okay.
Mhm.
That would be like liberal arts colleges and even major universities that have a competitive athletic program but don't offer athletic scholarships.
Mhm.
Division 1 is super competitive and they do offer athletic scholarships. So they're the hardest ones to get, but you have to be ranked at the tippy top to get those kinds of spots. But Miss Abrams is actually, when she worked in college admissions at her former colleges, that was one of her specialties, was to
Mhm.
work with the athletic recruits. So
Mhm.
her specialty is actually in athletic recruits. So
Mhm.
all of my athletes go to her
Mhm.
for advice about what to do with how to present themselves best. It usually starts in the junior year, so it starts a little earlier for them because they're probably going to be recruited by the time they begin senior year. They're most likely already know what colleges are most interested in them. So, but we do have a process in college guidance to help our best athletes achieve their dreams for being recruited by a college.
Great. So we're running a little behind schedule, but we have time
Mhm.
for two more questions.
Okay.
Okay. Another question that was submitted was about, what are some, ways that new students can, get good grades and good GPA that's going to help them for college.
Mhm. Well, listen, again, there's no magic formula, but if you come to Web and you do your best, whatever your best is, that's what's going
And
to
it's a
be.
great group of students, so they're going to do
Yeah.
great.
And I know Dr. Everett only admits the best kids. So
That's
I
true.
always tell her, they have to be the best because that's
It's
the only way I get them to the best colleges.
very true.
So absolutely. And you're going to find Web is a fabulous place to stretch yourself.
Yeah.
It's not just academics. We of
Hmm.
course want you to get good grades, and everyone's focused on getting good grades, and that's taken very seriously. But we want you to get involved. We want you to
Hmm.
play sports. We want you to be part of our theater. We want you to be part of our
Hmm.
music program. We want you to find interesting activities that are also going to nourish you and make you happy while you're having a great academic experience. And all of that together in a boarding community, whether you're a day student or a boarder, you're going to be here all the time. There's a lot to do here besides just your homework. And
Hmm.
we want you to take advantage of. If you ask a selective college, and you know this, Dr. Everett, from your own experience, if
Hmm.
you ask a selective college dean of admissions, what is the number one thing a student should do in high school They will always tell you take full advantage of your high school's resources.
Hmm.
Whatever your high school offers that they're
Yeah.
really good at,
Yeah.
do it and do well with it. And
Hmm.
if you go to a really great high school like Webb, they expect you to do really great things. If you go to a tiny little rural high school in the middle of nowhere where there's only three things to do, then you better be doing those three things. At Webb, there's so many good choices that you really have the luxury of picking and choosing the things that
Hmm.
fit you best. But I'd say the grade part, it's not easy to get an A at Webb. Okay. People sometimes think, oh, well, kids get such good grades at Webb. They're not easy to get. So you got to work hard and you got to be committed and you have to be there to know, get to know your teachers and know how to ask for help and go in for extra help when needed, et cetera. But our students tend to be very successful with our academic program. As
Yeah.
high geared as it is, thanks to your good efforts in the admissions office, you find the right kids that are going
Yeah.
to flourish with our program here academically and personally.
Yes. And I saw the list of who has registered. They're all great. So they're going to do so well.
Good. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Last question for you. If you could give one piece of advice to students and families earlier in their web journey, what would it be?
Oh, I would say, what I always think about that I wish I would have done more in with my own kids, which is enjoy the web experience.
Mm-hmm.
Embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
Make it all yours. Sometimes you get to a really good place like this and you're so nervous about everything and you want to get the good grades and you want to be
Mm.
involved in activities and mom and dad want you to do all this stuff and you're trying to do all this stuff that you forget to enjoy
Yeah.
just how wonderful this place is and the
Mm-hmm.
incredible friendships that you're going to make
Yeah.
both with your peers and with your teachers and staff. Um, Try to remember to enjoy all of that, all the good that's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
Embrace that and know that that's what you're going to remember forever. The good grades and getting into the top college, that's all important and it's all going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can come here with an open mind and know
Mm-hmm.
that this is going to be the kind of place that there's so many good people here that are going to want to do good
Mm-hmm.
things with you, um, be excited and be psyched for the fact that this is the kind of community where it's going to be like your extended family.
Yeah.
This is going to be home for you, and you want to be in a place that you can call home that you're going to love. And I think you want to cherish that and protect it and nurture it. Whether you're the student or the family, you're all part of that the bigger web family. So we will take good care of you, but we also know that there's a lot of fun that happens at Web. Don't forget to have the fun.
That's very important. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Martinez, for your words of wisdom. Thank you all for joining us. We have more admitted student webinars coming up. We have a parent roundtable next week. We put that in the chat. And we also have a course selection and enrollment process webinar, an international student webinar. So we have so many other events coming up. But we're so excited to have you join Web. And if you have any questions in between those webinars, feel free to reach out to our office. Love to chat with you. If you have questions about the enrollment agreement, if you have questions about anything else in terms of your enrollment or admission, just please let us know. So have a great rest of your night or morning, and we will see you soon.
Yes. Bye bye. Thank you.